Working developing news on Rhode Island's controversial quest for pension reform.
Tonight, hundreds of Rhode Islanders are sounding off both in favor and against proposed cuts aimed at repairing the state's broken retirement system.
Lawmakers on the House and Senate Finance Committee have been hearing testimony all day long on the pension reform plan. Supporters and opponents have been trying to drum up support with competing rallies at the Statehouse.
Now, the first featured state and municipal employee who claims the plan proposed by the governor and general treasurer will negatively impact their lives and their families.
And that was followed by a second rally featuring advocates who support pension reform as a way to raise Rhode Island out of its ongoing financial crisis. Eyewitness News reporter Steve Nielsen has been at the Statehouse all afternoon. He joins us live now with the latest on both sides of this contentious issue.
Yeah, there was two rallies at the Statehouse today, and as you can see, one of these rallies actually just let out a moment ago as the governor and treasurer addressed that crowd. The topic of both of these rallies, pension reform. Two rallies with competing messages. One to overhaul the pension system now, the other to keep a promise.
And it's going to ruin a lot of the lives in the state of Rhode Island.
One by one, pension recipients took center stage on the Statehouse Rotunda. They told their story of how Governor Chafee and Treasurer Ramondo's pension reform bill would negatively affect their lives.
I am not sure how we will survive. I'm at a time in my life that I cannot save for the future because the future is already here for me as a retiree.
All this while the joint State and House Finance Committee discussed the pension reform bill that would freeze cost of living adjustments temporarily, among other things. An hour later in the same spot, Engaged Rhode Island took over the rotunda to get their message across.
Where we are in the state right now, it affects every business, every person that's in the state, and the pensions have gotten out of line, and we have to bring them back in line.
I think that the General Treasurer has a very good plan to balance the interests of people, and I'd like to see it passed as is.
Now, Governor Chafee and Treasurer Ramondo did not speak to the union workers. They did, however, speak to the Engaged Rhode Island crowd. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll hear what they had to say. Live at the Statehouse with the Providence Mobile Newsroom, I'm Steve Nielsen, Eyewitness News.
We're working in-depth coverage of Rhode Island's pension crisis.
As mentioned right off the bat, the House and Senate Finance Committees have been hearing testimony all day from dozens of experts, labor leaders, and the public.
Supporters say the pension reform plan will save the state millions by raising the retirement age, suspending cost of living adjustments, and instituting a new hybrid pension plan for some workers.
Opponents claim the bill does too much, too fast.
This is a big piece of what we've got to do as a state of Rhode Island to put our fiscal house in order. We've got budget issues beyond the pension, but the pension is such a dramatic part of it. We really have an opportunity to do something very significant here.
Some of this stuff just seems like we're taking a broad approach when maybe we need to have a more focused approach. Because of these cost implications, I'm kind of questioning, maybe it's time to sharpen your pencils and think through some of these things more.
We'll have more testimony from today's Finance Committee hearing coming up on Eyewitness News at 6.
And you can also find in-depth coverage of the state's pension reform plan on our website, including Pensions 101.
WPRI.com reporter Ted Nisi tackled this very complicated topic, breaking down the information you need to know and explaining what it means for your wallet, even if you don't collect a pension.
Just click on the Probing Pensions tab at the top of the WPRI.com homepage.